Good evening, everyone. This is your favorite host, V. Bailey of Virtual First Dates. And on this evening's Raw Talks with V, featuring Denise Morgan of Sexual Reflexology. I hope you're as excited as I am about this show. It's a much needed conversation, and I hope that you are settled in. You got your notepad, something to eat, something to drink, so that we can get into this conversation about sex, intimacy, and misinterpretation. So stay tuned. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Virtual First Dates. We're going to wait for everyone to come on so that we can get into this raw talk. Hello. Hey. Okay, so I see that my girl's on. I'm going to wait and let a couple more people get in here while I add in Miss Denise. It's waiting on you, though, to send in a request. Uh-oh. Hope we didn't lose you. It looks like I have one person here. Yes, 6 p.m. Hello, Cooking with the Genie. So Denise, I'm trying to see if you can send your request in. Okay, so you're off. All right, make sure we're... So Miss Denise is in Jamaica, and we're waiting on her to, there's a storm there, just like it's storming here in Dallas. And so hopefully there's not an issue with the internet. Stand by. Let's see. Okay, so we see Peter and Miss Jeannie. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I was worried because I put my do not disturb on. I'm like, oh, if she messages me, I'm not going to get it. Hello, Amber.
Hey, sis.
Hi, sis. How are you?
I'm semi-stressed because the power went out, and I was scared that it would come back on.
Oh, yeah. I know. Just now when you had joined in, I was like, okay, I don't see a request. And then I looked and you weren't in there anymore. I'm like, oh, Lord, you know. And so I'm like, I have my do not disturb on. And so I'm like, if she tries to message me, I'm not going to get it. So, but anyway, I'm sorry.
So I didn't know what you said. No, I said, other than that, I'm okay. Like, everything is blessed. I'm excited for this live. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. Hopefully, the dog, just settles down, huh?
I know, like, you know what? These dogs, they sleep all day and then they bark at night.
Right.
Well, I don't know. But anyways, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're on this evening. This is a much needed conversation. And of course, we'll have to do it again, I'm sure, because we can't cover everything. But I definitely wanted to say welcome, Ms. Denise, because I'm so happy to have you here. And this is Denise Morgan of Sexual Reflexology. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into your bio. For everyone else, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here to see the show and get some great information. So here we go. So Ms. Denise, specialty is to educate couples on how to activate their inner alchemy through intimacy. For 17 years, she worked independently as a birthing doula, also empowering and supporting couples to detox prior to pregnancy. She obtained a quick reflexology certification from Centennial College, April 2007. So she can offer additional service to clients. A few years later, she received a level 1 foot reflexology teacher certification from Ontario College of Reflexology. Her natural nutrition diploma from the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition was received in 2013. Denise is a 2-time best-selling author of Living Without Limitation. And you have so much potential, inspiring generational healing and transformation. Denise is a co-owner of New Thought Creation, Empowerment, and Training. Their courses include Sacred Intimacy, Reflexology, Awaken Your Dakini Power. Hope I said that right.
Dakini, yeah. Awaken your Dakini power, yes.
Awaken Your Dakini Power, and Level 1 Foot Reflexology. All these will be launched officially in 2021. Denise is a mother of 3 beautiful girls and grandmother of 1 lovely blooming flower. In this lifetime, Denise's passion is to leave footprints worth following. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So welcome,
Thank you,
Denise.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you here for the show. So, as we, went over your bio, wanted to ask you first is what inspired you to do reflexology? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what that is.
Okay, so reflexology on a whole is a pressure point technique that is based on the premise that your body systems, organs are connected. So your hands and your feet, your face, your ears, they all have reflexology points, what they call reflex points that are connected to like your stomach, your heart, your spleen. So when you apply pressure to these points, it helps with, it increases circulation. It reduces stress. So I practice foot reflexology with clients. This sexual reflexology is pretty new to me. The creator of sexual reflexology is a gentleman, a master teacher called Mantak Chia, who's based in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
And so these points also go now on your genitalia. So the vagina and the penis has reflex points on them that does do the same thing when applied pressure. It helps with your whole entire body system. So reflexology is really meant for resting and repairing. Because there's so many nerve endings, especially on your feet. So this is with relaxation. So what got me inspired? I had an astrology reader mention sexual reflexology to me and that I should get the book, and I got the book. I did go to Thailand, and as my bio says, my focus was more on women and now couples, because I feel like if the woman, I mean, you can't work with one without the other.
Right.
So it's just always been into health and wellness. And I believe that when we understand our bodies more, it allows us to, it just makes us more aware and more conscious. And it actually allows us to be a better partner.
Right.
So you know yourself.
That makes sense. And more enjoyable, because it's, you know, if it's one person enjoying it, the other person is unhappy and then, you know, grows more unhappy and resentful. And of course, that's going to be a problem in a relationship if your intent is to have a functioning, you know, flourishing relationship, especially if you're married. So
exactly.
But I think that that's really cool about the sexual reflexology, and you were talking about the creator in Thailand. And I've always been kind of curious, because I've heard different things, you know, like that, of how people are able to orgasm without even having intercourse, you know, or, you know what I mean, or even touching the, you know, genitalia. So that's awesome, you know, those connections, and even with your feet, you know, all those different pressure points that affect different parts of your body. That's like really, really fascinating. So
it is. It is. And I've been on a mission of self-mastery.
Okay.
So this just followed right into place. And the more I learn is the more that I want to teach it. And my understanding is, if you want to master anything, it's best to teach it. So I did teach foot reflexology through the Ontario College of Reflexology for a time. And I just love health and wellness, and I think that we're all here to evolve and become better people. That's the purpose here.
Right.
So if I can be that, you know, a helper or a vehicle or a motivator.
Right. Yeah. That guide. Then why not? Right. Especially if it's something that you feel called, you know, to do and passionate about. Those are the best teachers to me. Individuals who are passionate about a subject or, you know, a topic, they're able to really help other people understand and get them excited about it as well. And of course, there's so many things that are connected to it. Our health is definitely going to play a major factor on your sex drive, your sex life.
Definitely.
Yeah, I pulled a few facts. I just kind of jotted it down of it. But a new national report states that the happiness index of love and relationships in America, they state that 64% of, you know, couples are very happy in their relationship. But 50%.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But 50% of couples in a relationship are unhappy sexually. 50%.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. And I find that a lot of sorry, were you finished? Sorry. Were you finished?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Mm-hmm.
I some of the main principles that make up a relationship, like the key factors within any relationship, like trust, acceptance, honesty, safety, compassion. I have these things written down: affection, communication. This is why I'm very passionate about what it is that I'm teaching, because I find that a lot of people are not really honest going into relationships.
Right.
And they're not fully honest, especially even with themselves, about their health.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's like shaming, so they're afraid to really communicate what is really happening. Sorry, there's a lot of rain. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can, but I can hear you too. I think everybody can hear you. It's a crazy day to do this, but who knew that the weather was going to be so bad?
I know, but you know what? We're here. Give thanks. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. But yeah, back to what you were saying, is shaming and things like that. So I wanted to, to ask you about that, which goes hand in hand with what you're saying. So in my opinion, they also stated that it was like 16 different things that negatively impact relationships. And out of the 16 things, it was 8 things were directly connected to sex. It's like about boring sex. We talk about low libido. We talk about for how many times you have sex, attraction, different things like that. And so, as you're talking about the shaming and different things like that, let's go ahead and talk about the fear and setting boundaries, healthy boundaries.
Okay. Again, for example, a young man, 35, has erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are fears of, okay, and there is that shame, that embarrassing aspect of it. Okay, I'm young.
Right.
I think it's just a very difficult conversation to have if you have not really cultivated a certain level of communication or intimacy with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of fears around, okay, so for example, with that man, okay, would I be able to really satisfy this woman? Right. Some women have issues where, for example, they have knots inside of their vagina, so even intercourse is very painful, right?
Wow.
A lot of when it comes to health issues, people are embarrassed to really speak about these things because they don't know how the other person is going to receive it.
Right.
It's important to really have these conversations because when you do, you allow the person to make a decision as to if this is something that they really want to be a part of. Right.
Of course.
And then, so fair now. So with my Sacred Intimacy Reflexology course, there's an aspect of the Universal Healing Tao Formula 1, where there's the 6 healing sounds meditation that allows you to release negative energy. So fear really affects the kidneys.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I'm probably jumping ahead a bit. But the courses that we do offer at New Thoughts Creation help out with helping couples create a more deeper level of intimacy and communication because that's so important.
Right.
So when so now you're talking about fear affects the kidneys. Feeling fear weakens the kidneys. So men are fueled by their kidneys, and women are fueled by their liver.
Women are
fueled by their kidneys. And women, their liver. Women, their liver.
Oh, okay.
So, all these things all these issues can be reduced if people were really honest with themselves, and if people really went into themselves and did your worth.
Right.
You know.
No, that makes
and yeah. And then when it comes to boundaries, healthy boundaries, let me just give you a little background of myself when it comes to boundaries.
There you go.
I had a lot of issues with creating healthy boundaries for myself because of past trauma, like childhood sexual molestation.
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
And there's a lot of women and men that go through that breaks down their ability to put up healthy boundaries.
Right.
Right.
That's true. That's very true. It's more than we know. I mean, that you realize. People who have experienced some type of molestation, especially within our community, it's crazy. So yeah.
And these things block the heart chakra. These things, you know, it cripples people to trust, you know. So that's why I went on this journey to this self-mastery, which I feel like I'm so far away from it, but I really want to encourage people to go inside themselves.
Right.
Turn their attention back into their bodies and learn their bodies, understand themselves. So when you really understand yourself and really understand what it is you like, especially sexually, what you don't like sexually, then you'll be able to really be a better partner. And you'll be able, your whole entire aura and your energy field will be prepared to attract the person. Right?
And that's so important. That's so important because a lot of times people are asking that question, you know, maybe not out loud to everyone else, but in private. What is it about me that keeps attracting this type of individual that I don't want? You know, you're saying you don't want this, but you're not understanding that not being in tune with yourself and not doing, you know, having some self-awareness, really affects that, you know, and then it's like having power and being unaware of how to use it. And so you're, you know, attracting all these things, and it's just like a lot of things are happening on accident, and we have to be able to be more intentional along with, you know, with self-mastery. When you master yourself, you're able to be more intentional and to not be blindsided with your every experience that you have. So, yeah. And it is a powerful feeling.
It's true. And again, it all boils down to transparency. Transparency, first of all, with yourself. And once we're able to be fully transparent and honest with ourselves, then that trickles out in all areas of our lives.
Right. Okay. No, I get that. I think that's awesome. And it's so important. Honestly, you can have a whole show talking about fear and boundaries because so many of us are affected by that. And honestly, your fears are what keep you from being great, from you being your highest self and operating on that frequency. And so
I agree.
You gotta want it, and then it's not something that just repairs itself, you know, overnight. It's constant. It's just like love, you know, choosing to do that every day, choosing to love someone. So I totally agree with you on that. So let's talk about intimacy and what intimacy is, because a lot of times people don't understand the difference between sex and intimacy. They don't understand that you can have intimate relationships with your best friends, you know, females or males.
Right.
You can have a very intimate relationship with, you know, a coworker, and not in a sexual way. You're just very close.
Yes.
A mentor. So let's talk about that.
Okay, well, it is a noun. And it, as you said, it is it just means like, you know, close familiarity, friendship, and it isn't synonymous with sex. Like exactly what you said. You can be intimate, and you can be intimate with a best friend, just through conversation, holding space for your friend, right? I did write a few things down and put intimacy in like 4 categories.
Mm-hmm.
And
say that last part one more time.
I wrote some stuff down. And I categorized intimacy in 4 categories. So there's emotional intimacy, where this type of intimacy allows a person to open up to, like, for example, your friend or even your brother, without having any fear that you'll be judged or laughed at. There's intellectual intimacy. So this intimacy involves like getting to know how another person's mind works. I love this type of intimacy because I get turned on the way a person thinks, right?
Oh, right, me too. I think it's hot.
Yeah, and then
the mind is so fascinating, especially so when they can teach you something you don't know or something that you're interested in, you want to know more about, and it's like they're an expert in just the way that they my brain just went that. The way that they were able to articulate those things are just attractive. It's attractive.
Very. That turns me on, girl. And so this is like type of intimacy where you're building an exchange of ideas and conversation, deep philosophical discussions that like you'll have that intimate conversation that with your partner that one night you'll be like, he's hot. So that like by how we think, right? And then there's physical intimacy, which is like the touching and the closeness to body in a romantic relationship, that like holding hands, cuddling, kissing, sex. And you can have a relationship that doesn't have to be romantic or sexual or physical, and you're still intimate, like warm hugs. You can lay your hand on their shoulder and feel comfortable. And then the last one I have here is the third one, is called experiential intimacy, where you're building intimacy over time by spending quality time with the person, like a person that moves kind of slow and kind of calculate. Let's move. Like I like to move slow, and then you're going closer and you're sharing common interests and activities. Like for example, playing chess together. Things like that.
So through your experience, that's why it says it's experimental intimacy. So through those experiences, as you, I guess, get to know each other, have fun, do different things and learning things together is what that means. Okay. That's awesome. That's probably pretty right there with the intellectual intimacy.
Yes.
Right there. Yes. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I'm really attracted to this person. You know how you don't know. You're not really my type, but for some reason I feel really, drawn in and like them. I'm attracted to them in another way. Yeah. So that's awesome.
And then there is spiritual intimacy, where this means like, spirituality means different things for different people. Right?
True.
And so generally speaking, like, you have the same common spiritual beliefs, maybe about, organized religion, or you believe you have interests in the same higher power, that common, like your common interests there, that there's a higher power, or even like there's a lot of information out there now, like, you really feel that this person is meant to be in your life, like a soulmate or like a twin flame, or like what they call like a cosmic or karmic relationship, a cosmic bond with this person. Like, you know that maybe you've met them in a past life, like a real strong spiritual connection, like something beyond yourself. Right. So intimacy, yeah, I just broke it down in like these 4 different categories. And intimacy definitely is going to mean different things or look like different ways to different people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. No, I think that was a very important thing to cover, because so many times we, get that one wrong. And so as we talk about intimacy and what that actually means, let's talk about the misinterpretations that are happening, why they get them confused with sex, all the time. In romance, even with romance, a lot of times, a lot of times we get that confused with, sex, romance, and intimacy. Like, they're not all the same. They work together, but they're not all the same. So
right.
Let's talk about the misinterpretation of intimacy and sex and romance.
Well, again, people can be intimate and not be sexually interested in one another. Mm-hmm. Like chivalry. Would they call that chivalry?
Yeah.
Right? When a man... Chivalry is like the ultimate intimacy, right? Mm-hmm. Intimacy can begin by just opening the car door for your woman. Right. Intimacy can just be calling to make sure that your partner is okay. It doesn't always have to be like heavy, erotic energy. Thanks for joining, everybody who's joined.
I know.
Welcome. It doesn't have to be heavy sexual. Why those things are occurring? Because I don't really think, especially as African people in the diaspora, we've had any real rites of passage. Like, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, when you're becoming a man, when you're becoming a woman, there you have a proper discussion from a wise elder person. Right.
Okay.
And these things are missing from our community. Right. Which has been a big detriment to us. Mm-hmm. Because, like myself, I'm a 43-year-old grandmother who's still working. Right? Right. Grandma was the one who taught you these things. Right? Or an aunt. But this culture, this lifestyle pulls us away from having time. We're working. We're on the go.
Everybody's working. Mom, grandma.
Right?
Still, yeah.
Exactly. So where are we learning about sex? The locker room. Boys are learning it from the locker rooms. Mm-hmm. They're learning. We're learning it through porn. Mm-hmm. We're learning it through Hollywood, which is a bag of illusions. Right. Exactly. So we're not learning about these things from ancient practices, right? Right. That have been really passed down to us because we've lost those. Right. It's kind of a guessing game and winging it, unfortunately. We are winging it. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. There's something that I had noticed. I was listening to a couple of different speakers, and it just kind of all came together. And I was thinking, like,
wow, society in that way has kind of failed, the youth, the people in general, because they grow up, to be, adults who are still clueless about a lot of things, learning so late in life. But it's very important, as you're growing up, the girls are learning from mom, and the boys are learning from dad. And there's certain that, each parent, who's involved is teaching, that child. But that child, that girl is not learning about boys, really, and when they grow up and turn to men, they're not learning anything really about them besides they are different from you, and thank you, Bobby. And
Thank you.
and for the boys, they're not learning about the girls and women, really. They're not learning how they think. They're not learning what they like. They're not learning any of that. It's just usually it's very negative. It's just like, okay, well, boys are dumb. Boys, all they want to do is play. And then when you get a little older, you got to watch out for them,
don't let them touch you because they don't wash their hands when they eat. Like,
right.
Moms tell
exactly. No, very true. Very true. So you're learning all these kind of negative things, but you're naturally attracted, to them because, unless, you're, homosexual or anything like that, or bi, you're going to be attracted to the opposite sex. And boys are learning these things about girls that, that they're just, crazy, and you like to do all these different things. You don't like to do them until you get to high school, and then you start liking them, or you might start liking them a little bit earlier, and you're attracted to that girl, but you have no education on anything. That's why you got to go ask, okay, I like this girl. What should I do? And then so you learn a little bit, to feed your attraction. It's not because you're really like getting a chance to, or intentionally getting to know the opposite sex. It's like, now I'm attracted, to this opposite sex. How can I get them close to me? So there's a lot of education that's being missed there. And then you grow up, and unfortunately, people grow up and they still have that very little education on the opposite sex. But now they're having sex and making babies and marriage.
With no awareness. It's true. And there is a book called Sexual Reflexology.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for joining. From Untitled Chapter. He wrote the book. And there's a section in the book that really resonates with me, that it was like a big light bulb, because we have this big separation that men are so different. We're taught that a woman can never think like a man, and a man can never really truly think like a woman, just because of how we were the way our bodies are made. A man has a penis, and since he's in the womb, he has mastered looking outside of himself. His penis protrudes outside of his body. He has mastered looking outside of himself his whole life from in the womb. A female, her genitalia is up underneath her body. So we have mastered looking inside our breasts, our heart chakra. We have mastered
looking within,
making decisions from our heart. So just how we're physiologically made up, we can never be the same, and we can never think the same.
Right.
And we can never imagine a man really thinking the way we think. Because of that. And that's it sounds very simple, but it's deep.
Yeah, it is deep. It's deep, and it's very interesting because it seems like it would be easy right there when you just the way that you said that. It's like, okay, well, he's mastered, the outer, and I've mastered the inner. And so now that we know that we got that down, we got our parts down pat, you know. Now it's like, let me share with you, you know, and let you share with me. And that was the approach. You know what I mean? That's you know, compassion too, you know, and that's love, you know, as well as saying, okay, I'm a master at this. Let me show you everything that I know, you know, and you show me everything that you know. And that's building, you know, intimacy. That's part of those a couple of those intimacies definitions that you gave earlier. And so that's just really important, just to in hearing that. It's just like, okay, well, I got this down. I don't need more of what I know, you know. I need to know what you know. And you know what I know, so that we can have this healthy relationship and exchange. Because, right, like sex is a energy exchange, and a lot of times people don't understand what that means. So I want us to, because I kind of just even, you know, think about that, but I would like us to go over. We have about 10, 15 more minutes, and so I want to go for sex, you know, because you said, what is sex? But that can mean so much, you know, for other people, because people have sex for different reasons. Besides the 15 different. So let's talk about that a little bit. And if anyone has some questions, you guys kind of pop them in there, and we'll try and talk about those or answer those before the show's over. So yeah, we sorry. Okay, so we actually have about 5 minutes. so go ahead and talk about the sex, and then we'll see if we can answer any questions in that time.
Okay. Well, sex. Some people have sex just to have orgasms and to have a good time. Some people do not have sex unless they want to procreate. There's a book called The Autobiography of a Yogi. And I remember reading that book, and the man mentioned how his parents never had sex unless they wanted to have a child. Sex,
second arm relationship.
That's when a woman is far more sexually stronger than a man, because a woman can have multiple orgasms and female ejaculations cannot get weakened.
Oops, sorry about that.
A man, though, has to be very careful of his ejaculations, because every time a man has sex and ejaculates, his body thinks that he's going to have a baby, or he wants to have a baby. So he loses some of his life force every time ejaculating. So when I do launch the course, please sign up, because we're going to teach men exercises on how he can retain his semen, right? And you can still have sex and enjoyable sex and be able to retain your semen. And sex is really supposed to be able to heal you, because if you know how to use that sexual energy, because sexual energy, this sexual energy is the most powerful energy ever, because it creates humans. Really think about that. It creates humans, a whole human. So you can imagine how we use that sexual energy to heal ourselves, to heal others. We can use it to bring that energy up and nurture our pineal gland. We can nurture our organs. We can nurture and heal ourselves and heal others. So when we really understand that sex is not just that you're just going to give it to anybody, that you really are,
It's a Marvin, right? It's a Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, right? It is. Yeah. And if you are connected heart to heart, that's what tantric sex is all about, being able to connect heart to heart with your partner. Because DNA dances and has orgasms as well. So your whole, when you are thinking positive and you have unconditional love, not only for yourself and for your partner, sex can bring you up higher levels.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's so, it's like when it comes down to it, you know, people are doing it wrong, you know, like it's so funny because when I was a little younger and I had a friend and she lost her virginity a little earlier, her mom had found out. She's like, you over here talking about sex and you don't even know how to have sex, right? She's like, you don't even know nothing about that. And it was just funny because it's true. It's still funny because it's true even in adulthood. People are having sex, and a lot of people are having it for the wrong reasons, just for an orgasm, and are not even understanding the power behind it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, some people aren't even turned on by that. They're just like, I can't even have meaningless sex, because, I got to connect on a deeper level. It needs to be, I have a book and it's called Sex, Marriage, and the Women in Society. And you'll think it's like a book for women, but it's actually, it was recommended by my guy friend. And it speaks to a lot of, being mentally healthy and physically healthy and that exchange and creating when you're not spiritually and mentally well, two partners like that, or even one, where you create menaces to society. And it was deep.
It's true.
It was deep.
So true. It's so true. And that's why the practices that I will be teaching in my course will help people to release negative emotions from their body prior to having sex, because we as women are receivers. So do not let a man just start having hard sex with you when he's taking out he's taking his frustration out on you.
Right, because you're receiving that negative energy.
You're taking that all in and you're carrying that. And if you don't know how and understand inner alchemy exercises to transform these energies, and let them become actually of use to you, I mean, these things can really dirty your aura.
Your aura. Yeah. And that book also said too, that's what I was meaning to say is astral sex, right? And so anytime someone picks that book up, if they're here at my house or something like that, they're like, what's this about? And it's like, that's that out of this universe, type of sex, taking it to another level, that, dimension, we got those powers, but, we're not using them because we're lack of knowledge, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
we don't know.
Yeah, it's super, it's exciting to know that there's more, that it can be so much more better, than what it is that people are experiencing. There's some people who are married for 40 years and have never had an orgasm,
Yeah.
And that's insane. It's insane.
It is.
Yeah, and we definitely got to do this. Have more of these kind of conversations.
Definitely,
Sure.
Especially women, we need to open up, and we need to not shame women who love sex and think that there's something wrong with them. That it's wrong. What's wrong with us loving sex, right? That's good.
I know.
Because you know what? When we master ourselves and we become that better person, then it just trickles out in every area of our life.
For sure. No, I totally agree with that. It's a journey, but I think it, can be amazing. Well, it is. It will be amazing. Just put one foot in front of the other and ask those questions. And women and men, like men, they don't have enough outlets, to be able to discuss these things. A lot of times their girlfriend or, a woman in their life is the person that they're able to open up with. But a lot of times we don't know, the things that they're needing, as far as when they just need to hear something from another man and get some understanding about themselves. And with women, have to stop shaming each other, because a lot of times you have the same fears, you have the same things that are going on with you, but you've been shamed. You pass it on to shame another, woman who is a little bit more freer and has embraced, all parts of herself. And so you all want the same thing. You want a happy relationship, and you want, when you're intimate, when you're experiencing intimacy and when you're experiencing, sex, you want it to be pleasurable for both people and not just one person that's just kind of like thinking about the laundry and things you got to do while she's having sex, or even your man, he might be struggling, with some things medically, and just being able to make that person feel safe so that you guys can have those discussions and see a doctor. Sometimes it just comes down to being vitamin D deficient, and deficient in other things. I mean, and women, when they have babies, I've, heard that a few times, that it changes their sex drive. And so there's no reason to be shamed, it's just about, communication and having some compassion for each other. So
I agree.
But so Denise's page is called Sexually. It's here on Instagram.
Yes.
The way that you can get a little more information. Oh, perfect. Sexual.reflexology. So you guys definitely need to follow her. And when these classes come up and become available, we definitely want you to sign up and look into the self-mastery as well.
Yes, and be prepared, because it's going to be very thorough. I'm a very thorough person, and when I put something together, I want it to be worth their while. I want it to be something that, that they can really utilize, and it actually transforms their life. Because with all this stuff going on, even in the world, we need to know how to transform stress into vitality.
Yeah, I want to learn that, because I feel like I carry a lot of it in my back, and I just want to clear my mind and be free.
In the mid of your back, in the mid part of your back.
No, right up in here, kind of in my shoulders, and then that upper back, and it's just there, and I'm like, I know it's affecting me, all throughout, and so that would be lovely to learn how to transform that, stress into something that's powerful and healing. Come on.
Yes, and also you'll learn a full body reflexology sequence that you can practice on your partner.
Oh, that's nice.
That helps you to prepare to be intimate, or even if you just want to relax. My relationship, in the mornings, we always rub each other's back.
Okay.
Where do you want me to rub? And I'll tell him, I'll ask him, just that deeper caring. So you'll leave the course knowing how to give a full body reflexology, pressure point massage, and so I'm putting it together. I did this.
That's exciting. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited, and so there's gonna be a mixture of Tantra, the Universal Healing Tao, the things that I've learned throughout my whole practice as a holistic practitioner will be all included in the course.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited about it, and I am so glad that you came on the show and joined all of us and provided us with all this great knowledge and wisdom. It's much appreciated. And we may, if you're free, we can probably come back on here. If people, if you guys, the viewers have questions, we'll come back on for a few, just to see if you guys, have questions. This is going to cut off, and so I don't want it to do that. Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the viewers of our virtual First Dates community. Thank you, Denise of Sexual Reflexology. Make sure you're following her. She put it in the comments. And we'll be back here just in a moment to answer any questions that you all may have. So I'm going to put out, I need to save it. So it's going to be like maybe 2 minutes or so. And then I'll come back on and then you can join. And if they have some questions, you can answer them. Okay?
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you.